Hey, Jeremy. Are you there? There you are.
My wife just got home from the hair salon with a new hairdo.
Oh,
So I had to run down.
so is that
Um,
good?
so
I'm
what
just
is this thing? See default counts. Okay. I've got some weird new thing. Okay, let's get rid of that. Oh, geez.
What is it?
Okay, so they're not here yet, but they should be.
No, I know they're not.
Um, how are you, Kurt?
Doing fine.
Good.
You know, uh,
Um,
kind of waiting for the I guess we're not gonna win on any of our challenges or whatever you want to call it on
It
this
doesn't look
commission
like
thing.
it at the moment, which is unfortunate. They did
Well,
change. They
they
did
did change
change.
what?
They changed that. I mean, they took out the overview document, the comp overview document, and they changed the graph one again. But they just corrected it. There was in the type it said 10, and in the picture it said 9 on the other levels where you need. I'm just
Yeah.
got they keep it keeps getting updated, and like I said, they took out the overview document. Well, I don't know why, and I'm just looking. I
Well,
saw
the part that bothers me, well, I mean, there's a few parts, but
there's yeah,
one of the parts that bothers me is just the fact that they just take $5 from everybody if you're
yeah.
on your front row if they become a
Well, they moved
affiliate.
them. Another thing that's really huge. They moved them from your front row to level one, which eliminates a level from the bottom. It moves everything down one.
Well, that's why they're doing it then, I guess, so they can cut out a
They
level of
cut
pay.
out. They're not just the five. It's all the hundreds and hundreds on your bottom level as well.
Right.
That's
Yeah, you're getting beat out of the 10th level at 50 cents
yeah.
now.
It stands here.
All right, let me let him in.
Okay. Thanks, Kurt.
Stan, you can unmute
Unmute.
yourself.
I feel privileged. Thank
How are
you.
you doing?
I'm good. It's
I
just
know you
been
called me earlier. I was on the phone and I meant to call
no
you
wor-
back and I got sidetracked.
never any worries. I got the same thing going on right now too. No worries. I told Jeremy we're doing some major upgrades to the system. All really good stuff. I don't know if you read my invitation that I sent out,
I
but
did.
we're making some we're making some nice changes. We're adding some people, streamlining the
Good.
questionnaire. Stefan will be on today. We're going to talk about it. And
Yeah.
it's all exciting stuff.
I think we got an issue with while Stefan was gone, and I don't know if was anybody besides Terrell doing the Zoom calls.
I'm not sure. There
I don't
might have
think
been,
he
might have been.
didn't send out an email to anybody that he talked to, so nobody has gotten an agreement or a
Oh
portal
boy!
or
All
anything.
right. Well, we gotta correct that. We'll correct that today.
Yeah, so I don't know if Stefan could go back and see who all Terrell talked to, but I
I
don't think
would imagine.
anybody.
Yeah, he'll track him down. No worries. He'll track
Yeah.
them. He'll track them. He'll track them down. And he should be dialing in just a few minutes. He was finishing a call because he'll be on
Okay.
here with us today. Jeremy, what are you eating? Anything good?
Yeah, they're avocado oil, sea salt crisps, chips.
Wow.
I'll try and
Chris,
crisps. I bought kimchi flavor, apple cider vinegar flavor, and these they're all done
you
with
like
olive
apple
oil
cider
rather than
vinegar
seed oils.
flavor?
Pardon?
You like apple cider vinegar flavor?
No, they're not very nice. I do like
No,
apple cider vinegar, but it's like salt and vinegar. I don't like them,
I
and
wouldn't use apple cider
the
vinegar.
kimchi ones are spicy, but
Yeah,
these
I
are
bet.
good.
Yeah, I bet they're good. I bet they're. I don't mind the spicy. There's Stefan.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's good. We're here because we got a lot of cool stuff to talk about today.
You want me to just let you take over and go from the beginning? Or
No,
I'll
that's
try and get
okay.
in.
We like it when you do the introduction and Jeremy, your little shtick that we do. That's really good. We like how you do it, and then you can just open it up, and then we'll let Stefan go over, do a little brief overview, and then tell people the exciting updates that we have.
Okay. I thought I'd let you guys just take over.
Uh, Give us a quick little intro, and then we can
I
take over.
will. I will.
You do a wonderful job.
Uh,
Yes, Wednesday was a
uh,
good show.
Excellent, excellent. I heard it driving back from Boston.
yeah. So where do you live, Stan?
I live in a city that's called Fall River, Massachusetts. I'm on the
Massachusetts. I
island.
know where Fall River is.
I'm in the Rhode Island border. Yeah, well, Fall River was famous because it was the textile capital of the entire world at
It's
one
it's
time.
Yeah, yeah.
it's
The
1201.
so Stefan, I think I made you a co-host so you can unmute yourself. Um, there was a huge textile company that I used to do a lot of business with out
Yep,
of Fall River.
yep,
They had what they called wet. They were a wet look fabric,
yep.
microfiber,
Oh
or
yeah.
not microfiber. It was oh hell, I can't remember what they called it. But anyway,
That's okay. But we were at one time, Jeremy, we were the textile capital of the entire, not the country, the entire world.
no, I don't know if they were bigger than North Carolina than in around High Point, North Carolina, but they were big.
In the 1800s, they were.
Oh, in the 1800s, I didn't go back that far.
That was the heyday when they built
Oh
all.
yeah, they were good, the good old days.
And now it's China.
Yeah.
Yep, that's correct. And then I'm also next to New Bedford, which is the number one fishing port, and that was the big whaling capital of the world. So,
Yeah.
I'm in
Wow.
a
That was
area.
also in the 1800s.
Yep, yes, again in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Well, we better let people in. People are
Um,
going to be
oh,
a
it is time. I'm sorry.
very good meeting today because we have exciting things to talk about.
So
All right.
Stan, you're gonna have to tell me what you want me to share.
Let's talk about a little bit about our updates that we have. Number one, to our site, it's going to be easier to get people to fill it out. What we talked about, and we're going to start with that, and then I'll kind of lead you in the correct direction. We love Kurt and Jeremy to just give you
All right.
a quick interview. Not an interview, sorry,
Well, we've
an
got
introduction.
introduction. We've got them all here, so I'll
Oh,
get started. The
Very good.
welcome everybody for the Friday training and Q&A for the FICA tip tax credit. And I'm glad to say that Stefan and Stan are both here today, so you'll get some expert information. Um, if you can, if you're new today, would you mind going down where it says react at the bottom where there's a heart there? Click on that and raise your hand, just so we know if we've got new people here today. And if you can't figure out how to raise your hand, it's okay, but either way. So Legacy Tax has been in business since 1998. Stefan is the founder, and Stefan is a CPA and a tax attorney. So he's he gives us the best of both worlds from the standpoint of the accounting side, and then also knowing the law, which has helped us tremendously on this FICA tip tax credit because of the extra years that we're able to get people right now. But the credit has been around since 1993. Stefan's been filing it since 2003. So 23 years he's been filing for his clients. I just realized I had my camera turned off. Might as well turn it on. Somebody might tell me my hair looks nice or something. So anyway, so the credit is not new, but it's got some new light shown on it because of them adding the beauty industry onto with the big beautiful bill. It's kind of brought attention to the restaurant side of it as well. So some companies have been jumping into that. It's normally a program where you can go back for the current year, which is 25, and then 24, 23, and 22. But right now we're able to also get 21, 20, and 19. So there's an extra 3 years for a short window of time, and that window is getting shorter quick. We're telling people June 15th we have to have stuff in. Probably by June 15th, Stefan will be able to let us know. I can take it a little bit further out.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
just depending on if we snow him under or not between now and the 15th. But anyway, Legacy Tax is the fourth largest tax reconciliation firm in the country. They have 22 locations. As seen on CBS News, Fox. I'm reading that off your screen there, Stefan.
Yeah.
But Stefan's well known in this industry. He specializes in the tax credits, and our job is to bring the clients to him, and he takes over from there. And his close rate is it 96% now or 99?
It's got to be about that. It's actually, I always had a conversation with somebody earlier, like, how many times does somebody say no? In the last month, I think I could remember maybe two or three.
Well,
And
and
it's
I'm
not that they
guessing
say no, it's because
they owe money or something and they can't
well,
pay it.
yeah, I've had that where they owed money, it didn't, and they said it didn't. I think it still makes sense.
Well, it
If
does
you owe
if they
two
have the
hundred
money.
thousand dollars to the IRS and we're going to get you 100, I think it's cheap money to pay your debt, but not
Right.
everybody agrees with me, especially when you
Yeah.
tell them they got to come out of pocket for it.
That's probably the issue. They don't have the money to come out of pocket.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's a little bit about legacy tax. Jeremy, you want to tell them about Black Swan?
I would love to. So, okay, so Legacy Tax Resolution Services is the actual tax company, and um, they've been doing tax services for their clients for many years. They've also been doing these services for like a middleman, like a company that would have a whole bunch of consultants like us. A lot of us have worked with these companies, and Legacy, Stan and Stefan did not like the way that these companies were taking 50% of their commissions, sometimes not even paying them. A lot of these companies we've worked with, there's a lot of companies that I thought were doing ERC and things, and it's actually find out that Stefan was the one who was doing it in Legacy. So they didn't like the way that the reps were being treated. So back towards the end of last year, they decided to that's when they launched their own affiliate side, which is the Black Swan side. So instead of us having a middleman taking half our commissions, we're direct with the company. As you've heard, the company is very solid. Stefan is excellent at his job. So the commission wise are higher, sometimes double the commissions. So, like I said, we're in a very, very good spot. We're direct with the company. Nobody can touch us. And Stefan can do all kinds of tax credits and other things, which we'll get into further down the line. Thank you very much.
Okay. Stefan and Stan, I'm going to let you guys just take over and go from there.
Well, the first question is, do we have any new people?
Well, we asked them to raise their hands and nobody did, Stan.
You raise your hand or if you can't, just put in the chat.
Yeah, I asked them to do that already and nobody did. So I don't think we have any new people.
That is okay. I always try to make sure that we spend a few minutes up. We do have somebody waving their hand. I think Thomas is new. Ask him if he's new. He's going to wave again.
Well, I don't see Thomas, so I don't know how to ask him.
Yep. Oh, no,
I saw him before. No, I'm just joking.
We have
so we got a new guy.
And Thomas. We do have two people here.
All right.
So
no problem.
We're going to do a 2-minute overview, Stefan. Let's see how quickly you can do it.
All right, let me give you the Reader's Digest version. Let me bring my screen up. Come on, computer. Sorry, I probably need to, I've got so much stuff up. Share. All right, so is my screen coming up?
Yes.
All right, Reader's Digest version of FICA Tips Tax Credit. So it was created in 1993. It was created, and the purpose of it was to encourage employees to report their tips. Well, the best way to get employees to report their tips is give an incentive to the business owner to put things in place to encourage the employees to report their tips. And that's what FICA Tips is all about. So we give business owners the ability to not pay FICA taxes on their employees' tips. There's their carrot. So Unfortunately, it's just not well known. So it's estimated that anywhere from 80 to 90% of small businesses don't know anything about this. And I've said this on just about every webinar. Don't take my word for it. Start having conversations with restaurants and see how many tell you that I've never even heard of that. It's just not very well utilized, mostly because payroll services don't offer this. Payroll services, the ones that deal with the FICA taxes, and they don't offer this because they would have to reduce the FICA taxes that they're collecting, and they consider that to be a liability for them. So it's easier for them to calculate the tax, collect the tax. They view this as the business owner's responsibility, not their problem. So payroll taxes services will not do this. So the next person that would likely be taking advantage of this is the tax professional. And honestly, tax professionals during tax season don't have the time for this. It's time consuming. It's not quite as bad as ERTC, but it's very time consuming. So they don't have the time for this. So they don't do it either, or they just flat out don't know anything about it. The median refund for businesses in the restaurant industry is $101,000. That's over all the years. And that's honestly kind of low. I mean, from the numbers we've been getting in lately, that is actually kind of low, but that is the statistical mean refund is $101,000. It's estimated that anywhere it's estimated by the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago that upwards around $11 billion a year go unclaimed in tax credits. And this is a big part of that. Now, the next statement says we can go 3 years back. So we can go with the current year plus 3 years back. But because of a statute that relates to federally declared disaster zones, which includes COVID, we had an extension for the period of time while we had COVID, and that took the deadline out to July 10th of 2023, and we have 3 years to amend from that. So that puts it at July 10th, 2026. Now, I just had a conversation because I'm like, okay, I'm the contrarian. I'm feeling like I'm hanging out there in the breeze. Everybody else is saying only 3 years. So I had a conversation with one of the very large tax firms this morning. And they're like, I told them, I said, Glenn, do you see the same thing I do? He said, yeah, I see the same thing you do. And I'm keeping it really close to my chest. I'm like, oh, good. I don't mind being the contrarian, but I don't want to hang out there in the breeze by myself. So he agreed with me. As a matter of fact, he told me, he said they're quietly going after ERTC on brand new cases. So that tells you how much faith they're willing to put behind that, because that opens up the statute for a 941 amendments for 20 and 21. Same reason, same statute that we're using for the refund statutes being open another 3 years is the same thing they are using to file ERTC cases. So we can go back 7 years right now, but the extra 3, we have to get them done by July 10th of 2026. That's it. How'd I do?
You did good. That has to be in their hands by
Yes.
that date, not
Yes, because the older returns have to be paper file, which means
yeah,
we have to allow for mailing time.
yeah.
And I don't want to go through the nightmare of like ERTC when we're literally at the mailbox trying to calculate how many days is it going to take to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you did a very good job. Now, Kurt, we have some more exciting information because we have decided to streamline this form that you see that, that we're going to have restaurant owners fill out. So, Stefan, why don't we talk about a couple of the changes that we're going to be making on
Some of the changes have already been made. Let me refresh, because we streamlined this first page. You'll notice that the questions are a lot less. There's not a lot of intrusive questions about taxable income and all that stuff that scares people away. That's all gone in this initial survey. So the initial survey will go, and the back end of this initial survey will take them to what I call a pre-interview survey. So in the pre-interview survey, we'll ask more of the questions that were here, but we'll also ask questions so when we come to the interview, we already have the answers to the 4 parts of the calculator. So we can spend less of the time asking them questions about the numbers to the calculator. We'll already have those. We're also going to ask them additional questions that would lead into other verticals. So it's not unusual for us to ask, how many total employees do you have? So total employees would potentially give us a lead into, does this make sense for them for a Section 125 plan? We're going to ask them, we'll ask the 4 questions to get the answers to the calculator, but we'll ask other leading questions like, do you own a commercial building? That would lead towards cost seg. Do you, so other leading questions that will lead to other verticals, and you will have access to those. So we'll get the answers to those back in a PDF file, and we'll put that in the same canopy and give you access to it. So you'll have access to information that may lead to other verticals.
And just so everybody knows, that client, once we turn them over to Stefan, legacy tax, if they convert that or in addition do cost segregation or R&D or WOTC or any of those, you are still the rep for that
Yeah,
client. So you
that's
still get paid.
this is your client. We're not selling them anything. We're just teeing it up for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
That's why that survey comes to you, and it's going to tell you this is, I'll teach you how to read between the lines. This is probably a decent 125 case, or this is a good cost segregation because they own their own commercial building. Or, I asked them those questions that would potentially qualify them for R&D, which R&D is not a big thing for restaurants, but it does happen where they're doing something innovative that would make them qualify for R&D.
A new biscuit recipe or something, right?
Yeah, something that's new, unique, a formula, a process, something that would qualify them for R&D. So we're asking them questions that would lead to other verticals for you.
Yeah.
And also taking away those questions that might be a little scary on a front-facing landing page.
Think of how many people ask us, Kurt, why do I have to ask them their income? Why do I have to ask them?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, now I want to make the point here a minute, Kurt, and I can't see him to me. He might have had to go take care of the pool guy. Do you remember what we've talked about? How I created Black Swan, what I wanted it to be? I wanted it to be a company of consultants, by consultants, and for consultants. We heard you. We changed it.
Yeah, these are all as a result of feedback that we got from reps and from clients.
I like it. I'm sure everybody on here likes that.
So, and then we'll have one more survey, but they're going to be in Canopy. They're going to be in the CRM. We're working the case. One more survey that does things like, tell us how many majority owners you have that are listed on payroll. How many managers do you have and supervisors do you have that are listed on payroll? And how many, relatives do you have that don't qualify and are listed on payroll? So we can elimination kind of questions. So protect ourselves from making a mistake and claiming some employee that doesn't qualify. Those kind of questions.
That's all exciting information. Now, the next piece of exciting information is Stefan has hired somebody specifically to reach out to clients that aren't responding to their portal request or are not sending in their documents.
So not really hired, but I reassigned one of my people that's worked for me for about 5 years now. So she will be working. So there, behind this survey, there's a worksheet. There's a tracker that's behind this. And we use that tracker to find things like somebody who filled out the survey but never set an appointment. So someone who set an appointment but never accepted the invitation to the portal. So that's part of what Brittany's going to be doing, is ferreting out those people and pushing them through.
Awesome.
So finding those people that got stuck somewhere and haven't moved forward.
So that's some pretty exciting news. Like I said, we listen to what people are saying. We listen to if there's issues. We had a little bit of an issue with people not getting the portal filled out correctly or just not sending it in. We made changes on that end. And now we have the follow-up person because we know, Kurt, the fortune is in the follow-up. Wouldn't it have been
Exactly.
nice? Wouldn't it have been nice if we had somebody from Snap or whatever the company was reaching out to your client and saying, hey, you didn't send your stuff in? We had to do it ourselves. They didn't do it.
Speaking of that, send the stuff in. So I'm almost done. I'm probably 80% done. So you know how your clients were getting those multiple requests for information? That's gone because it's making clients crazy. So we'll have essentially one request for information. It will be a checklist, and it will be a checklist that has 7 steps, and every little tiny piece is a separate step, and every little tiny piece is separately tracked. And then it has an overall, it has a bar that shows the completion. You will be able to see what has been done and what hasn't been uploaded. Now, you won't know if we ask for a 941 for the first quarter of 2019, you can tell if something's been uploaded. You won't know if it's the thing we actually asked for. That's our preparers have to do. But you'll know that that client uploaded something for that request. It'll keep track, so you'll be able to see where the clients are at and what they have and haven't uploaded. And it'll keep track of, it'll keep the, a percentage complete.
Yep.
So there'll only be one thing that's bugging them, and that will stay open. And when they submit that entire thing, they'll submit it to, they can see a review, they can see everything that's been uploaded, and then they submit. And then once they submit, then we go in there and look to see what they uploaded. Until then, it's a huge waste of our time, and it's so inefficient for us to constantly go in there and look to see what the client uploaded.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's another huge change that will be up probably by the end of this day. So any
Awesome.
new clients as of this morning, that's what they'll be getting.
Awesome.
Yep. And then the other thing that we had going on, I know I've seen it in the WhatsApp group. People are asking us about the contract, the Black Swan contract. We're getting ready to digitize it, do a Panda doc, and then because we're going to add those new services, cost segregation, R&D, 125, and private reinsurance, we're going to have a spot for compensation on there. It doesn't exist on the current contract. That's why we haven't really pushed that one too much. And we're going to digitize it and put it, make it a Panda doc.
It makes Stan's life a whole lot easier.
Oh, you have no idea. It's 18 pages.
Yeah.
I had to review every single one of them.
Yeah. So, a lot of people are asking questions in the chat, and I'm several of them. They're questions that need to be asked out loud so everybody can hear the question and the answer. So please raise your hand if you've got a question, and that would be better than us trying to do them in chat and most people not being aware of them. So if you don't mind doing that, and if you don't know how to raise your hand, down at the bottom there's a react with a heart. You click on that and you can raise your hand. So are we ready to start taking some questions?
I am.
Go for it.
Susan, you've had your hand up since we started, so.
Yeah, I have a couple questions. So, as I understand what you said, the reminders are gone. Is that correct?
Yeah, the separate
And-
reminders that are bugging them and getting them, 6, 7 emails a day. Yes, that's gone.
And so you're only going to send one request.
So it's going to be one request, and it's going to be a questionnaire. It's going to be internal, where it's got all the separate pieces asking them to upload documents. They're all going to be required, so they have to complete the entire thing before they can submit.
And we will get a copy of it?
You'll be able to see it just like they can. So, just because we add you to the portal just like we do them, you'll be able to see the same thing they do.
Will we be able to see the client that it refers to?
The only way you're going to, so when you see a reminder, it should say the name of the client that's the reminder.
No, it didn't. It did not.
Hmm. Okay, because it should, when
So
it
I
sends you a
request that
reminder.
you add that to the initial thing. How
Soon-
soon will they
soon-
get
Go
this
ahead.
after the phone call with them?
Well, we're gonna have to go back through there. We're gonna have to, some of the ones we're gonna have to, go in there and look to see what they've already sent, because we certainly don't want to send them a questionnaire where they've uploaded some stuff and we're asking for the same stuff again. So we're gonna have to go in there and check off some of the things that they've already uploaded.
Okay, well, once you get through that, the new ones, how soon after the phone call will they get that list?
They'll get it, they're gonna get the initial interview, the pre interview survey, and then after that, we'll get, as part of the pre-interview, we're asking them for their address so we can get the engagement letter faster, and then they're gonna get this.
Okay, one other thing, on the leads program,
Mhm.
are they vetting these people?
If you're talking about the leads, like this, the Facebook,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I
Yes,
don't
sir.
know anything
Yeah,
about.
that's not their wheelhouse, Susan.
The Uncle Dan question.
I'm sorry?
No, I can help her a little bit. So they can't, they can give it parameters on who they want, but they can't eliminate everybody because it will narrow the scope too much and it won't reach near the number of businesses that they want to. So they can't really vet them. They're just targeting certain information, and that's where the leads come from.
Well, we have really gotten some weird ones, like
Well,
someone who wants to lead us to the Lord.
well, they might lead you to another rep or something too while they're at it. So
Oh, no.
ask them if they know some people that would want to go to work or if they have any friends that own a restaurant. Thank you, Susan.
Okay, thank you.
Um, Mike.
There we are. You hear me?
Yep.
Mike Foresta. Thank you very much, everyone. Stefan, Kurt, Jeremy. Quickie on the checklist, that's something that we would be able to prompt the client a little bit with getting into action
Yeah,
as we're
well,
looking at that list as well.
because you can go in there and look to see how they've come, how far they've gotten. So yes, you can get in there and see, how far, what progress they've made. You can get on the first page, you'll be able to see the progress bars, if they're 10% through it or the 15% through it. So yes, you're going to be able to nudge the client.
Terrific. I sent out our um, information page here to 18 of my closest marketing associates I've been working with years, and they came back with some constructive comments, and I wanted to share them with you a little
Sure,
bit. Number
sure.
one is where it says number of tipped employees.
Uh-huh.
It's unclear. Does that mean like weekly, monthly, everybody on the payroll? What does that mean?
Yeah. So you're talking about on the survey,
Yes, sir.
you're talking about on
It
the landing page.
yes, the survey says number of tipped employees, and you move the slider. Is that
Or you enter
how?
the number.
Yeah. What number
So
is that?
so that's the number of weekly tipped
Yeah, well,
employees.
it should
Tipped
say
employees
weekly.
have.
The point I'm trying to make is there should be a
Yeah,
word in
so
there, weekly
this
employees.
is this is annual. So we're talking about how many tipped employees they have. So
Well, then we
I've not
should,
had too many people that don't understand that. So of the total employees they have, how many of those are tipped?
I'm just looking for clarity. That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah, working in a week, it's, the same deal because, when we ask how much tips are they making weekly,
I
it
understand
it
it.
fits right along with it, but we're doing it
Yeah.
with the client. We're not just sending them a landing page. We're either filling it
No,
out with them in
some of us
person.
are,
Well, that's
and
the
I
thing we
get the
recommend you
comment
don't
back.
do. Yeah.
The second comment I got, and this is out of 16 out of 18 people I sent it to that are marketers, strongly recommended, and these are constructive comments, strongly recommended that we put the money at the top. We have some information at the top, and their comment back to me was nobody would scroll past that because they don't see the money. If we see the money at the top
you
and
talking about the,
they start playing with the calculator, that gets them pretty excited. Then they can scroll down to apply.
you talking about putting the question, the calculator at the very top?
money at the top. 16 out of 18 marketers said put the money at the
Yeah.
top above the fold.
Which they all probably did not know that you're supposed to do it either with them in person or over the phone.
I understand, but
I mean, you
I'm
direct
saying
them to the money.
I understand that if I'm doing it in person, that's fine. But some
Yeah.
of us are on email and Facebook campaigns, and so I'm just making a general comment that above the fold is the most important piece. When people click on that, instantly they're looking for gratification. It's the McDonald's strategy. I want my burger now. They press the buttons, they go $30,000. And the little line at the bottom says multiply this by 2, 3, 4, or 7 years. They're going to go, they're interested. Now they're going to go to the next step. That was just their comment. The other comment that they had was a suggestion to have the navigation strip at the top to stay stationary rather than to roll up with the page so people can click through that. And those were the two main things. Above the fold was a critical mass for most of the marketers I talked to. So I hope that's
You probably need to put an email together and send that so that
that's two items. Put the money at the top
Okay.
and hold the
Well,
navigation at the top.
I was just giving you a
Yeah,
suggestion so that you could make sure that Stefan has that in front of him
I'd be happy to
after
do
this
that.
meeting's over. It's not like he is only thinking about your deal. He's got a lot of stuff going on.
I
I would send
understand.
an email.
What would
Just to
an
remind
email
you.
be?
And
Same.
send it to you can send it to stefan.brewer@ltaxrs.com.
I'll post it.
Excellent.
I'll post it in chat for you, Mike.
Thank you for your assistance. You have a blessed day. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Okay. Sonia,
Thank you so
I did it
much.
right this time.
Yes. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you. Okay, I had just and happy Friday, everyone. So, with the changes being made, I had a couple of questions. After we have that initial 10-minute conversation with the client, we used to, I know you all said they can set an appointment on that calendar link if this is something that is going to be advantageous for them to do. They set the appointment on the calendar link that's in there. If we do not put our name, put our information in there to also join the meeting, will we, according to what
No,
Mr. Stefan just said, we will know what's still going on in the process or we will not?
If you
you
don't
will not
set,
let,
if you don't if you don't add yourself on to that appointment, you won't be notified of an appointment.
yeah, you won't be included. You have to be
That's
on
why,
that. You can be on the call with them and he can ask your client, can I add Sonia to the portal with, as well to
Okay.
keep up with it.
So no notification of the link, but we can still get on there. So with that being said, if we're not on there, maybe we have another appointment, will we still get that notification that, hey, they met with you and what's going on? How, or do we have
yeah,
to
we'd have
check
to,
with her?
I'd have to work out something with Brittany to handle that.
Okay.
Because that's not something most of the people that we have that are being successful at this are going through the landing page with them and setting the appointments.
Okay. So that
And
means
getting
do
on the
not,
call with them.
okay, so
Yeah.
that means don't just give out our link either, like putting it on
No,
social media or things like
no,
that. We need to
no.
be involved all the
Yeah.
way. Okay.
Sonia, when you're marketing on social media, I would do something so that they contact you, not so that they get the link and try to fill it out. You'll have
Okay.
a lot better results if they're in touch with you and you guide them on where we're going. Tell them I'm going to send you this link. You're going to, let's go through it together over the phone and I can walk you through it. And then you're able to tell them, no, add me as a guest. Here's my email address. Add me as a guest when you make this appointment and I'll be on there with you.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're going to be out of the loop and, uh, you
And we
know,
won't, so
what,
we won't know if a client actually dinged him or filled out something. It's
no,
not going to
no, you
track
won't.
like that.
Yeah, the only way you know is if you're involved in the deal.
To me,
Okay.
if you're pushing people to the landing page, Yeah, you'll know they hit the landing page. It's just going to be, some basic information, their IP address. It's not going to really, other than some, how much traffic did you get to a landing page, unless they fill out the survey,
You
nothing's
got
going to
nothing.
happen.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. And if they fill out the survey,
They
then I
could,
should say that then we'll know what's going on. If they
yeah,
fill
they
out that
they could
survey.
literally go there and leave, and yes, you'll know there was traffic, but that's it.
Okay. All right. Now, on the marketing page that y'all showed us the other week, I did go in there and try to integrate my put my hyperlink into the QR code and the flyer that you had. But that flyer is a PDF, and I couldn't, and there was a video too, and I couldn't quite make it work. But is there a way for us to get a JPEG of those flyers so that we can like put our contact information in there?
Yeah, there's a JPEG version in the marketing material as well.
Okay, I didn't see it.
And you can also upload it to ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT what you want to change, and it will do it
Okay.
without having to have a PDF or anything else. It'll just do it for
Okay.
you.
ChatGPT, just have them do it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And I think that's what, oh, direct deposit. Last thing, the email that was sent out last week, I think you said just hold on to it. And we did fill out, just make sure we'll be paid through. How do we check to make sure our direct deposit is set up correctly? I looked back there, but I didn't make sure it was set up.
If the money doesn't show up, ask somebody about it.
After the fact,
No, I mean,
I bel
Yeah, if you've marked ACH before we send out ACH, we're gonna have to reach out to you, get the banking information.
okay.
yeah,
All right.
I believe when money is owed, then it's all set up.
Okay, cool
When there's
beans.
money on its way.
Okay, cool beans. All right, so I'll make sure everybody also knows we need to be on each call, basically follow through. So that's good information. Thank
better.
I
you.
would highly encourage you, the people that have been successful with this, that's what they're doing. They may push marketing to, have them reach out to them, but
Okay.
they're the ones going through the landing page with the client. The ones that were having the most success, that's what they're doing.
Okay.
Sonia, we're going to make a lot of money,
Yeah,
and you don't want to leave it up to somebody else,
I know.
to get this money. You want to be involved and in control and able to, keep that relationship with the client, not only for this, but moving forward. We've got other programs, that we can bring to them. And even though Legacy Tax is going to be approaching them about that stuff, they know
Right,
have some kind of relationship with you. If you're also approaching them with it, I think it's going to help you out. So,
right.
Yeah,
Oh,
and the other
Kurt.
reason to be on the appointment is you get some education.
yeah,
Right,
Because
exactly. Oh,
now you can
I
start,
plan on being on there.
yeah, now you can
yeah.
start to field some questions because you've listened to that interview a few times.
Thank you, Sonia. Did I lose? Oh, here's Ed.
Yeah, guys. Good afternoon. Uh, on the calculator, the survey, and I'm brand new at this. I'm obviously getting my brain wrapped around everything. But the calculator shows the survey. It's pre-filled out that one tipped employee is in that spot. Shows $359.77. This is for a restaurant.
Okay.
Is there some way to not have that? Could it be defaulted to zero? It's just a
If you
little
put
bit
zero,
confusing.
if you just change it to zero before you show it to the client, it's going to be zero. That
Okay,
number changes every time you put a different number in there. If you put zero, it's going to show zero.
okay, but it couldn't be defaulted to zero. Is my question.
Well,
So
it's got the calculator in it, so if there's one showing in the employee deal, it has to show what they're going to get paid. So the only way to change it is to put a zero in there.
It works if you put a zero in. It goes to zero.
gotcha. But the default is one. Is what I'm saying. I can
Yeah.
manually put a zero in there, and of course it goes to zero, and it doesn't show any annual savings. But I mean, if there's a way, to me, again, this might just
Why
be
do you
my
want
own
it to show
little.
zero?
Well, in the event that ideally we wanted to do this ourselves, as you guys are stressing, in person or over the phone, but there's going to be some situations where the prospect Ed just text me the information. So if I text them the app, then it's going to show $359, and that may be confusing to a client. Is all I'm saying. It's not a big deal.
But
Yeah.
if you
it was
change the
easy
tipped
to
amount to zero, it'll change the calculation to zero.
correct, but the default right now is 1.
Right.
So it pre-fills a dollar amount in there. If the default was 0, then it would be up to the prospect to put a number in there, 10, 15, 20 tipped employees, whatever. I don't know. It might just be a quirk on my part. It just seems a little confusing. If that's not a big deal, if
it's, I mean, it's not a, Ed, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but it's so simple for you to fix yourself. Why do we need to have Stefan go back in and have his guys reprogram it so that the
Gotcha.
default's
Okay,
0?
well, I didn't know if it'd be an easy process. Okay,
Thank
no
you.
problem. Another
Okay.
quick question
Okay.
on the
Nothing on
early.
that calculator is easy.
Gotcha. One other question as far as could you just touch on the early payment potential for the client with the financing? Could you just touch on that?
So we're still working out this. I just had my second conversation with the hedge fund today, so they're very interested. But we've got to get all the details. I would imagine we're probably going to be signing contracts next week, but we need to get, as far as how quickly they fund. But they're interested in funding 90%, but I got to, nail that down before I really want to say for sure. I mean, they're very interested, but I want to get all the details before I start announcing that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Denise. I gotta go get some glasses. I couldn't see if that was Denise or Dennis. So I was,
Oh, no, don't do that.
well, that's why I had to make sure before I said it.
Not Denise or nephew either.
All right.
I've got a business that it's a cafe, bakery, but they combine all the tips. Actually, I got 2 different businesses that do that. All the tips are just kind of combined. We can still do those, or
We can.
what
It
are
gets
the- and what are the
problematic
limits?
because what we have to do is we have to allocate it down to the people who traditionally receive tips. Like, for example, if they're sharing the tips with the kitchen staff, the kitchen staff can't be part of this.
Okay,
So as long as we can somehow get the information to allocate it back to the people that would traditionally get tips, then we're okay.
okay. Because I've got 2 of them, and
Yeah,
one's
we can't
very
we can't
busy.
we can't take the people that would not receive tips.
Okay, because they don't normally get it.
Yeah, the people that don't normally receive tips or don't qualify.
Okay, and if you were talking about ownership within family members, if they're family members that work for them are W-2 regular employees, but they
Correct,
have no ownership in the business,
correct.
is there any restrictions then?
Under 21, and related to the owner, there are some restrictions. Parent there's a restriction. Spouse, there's a restriction. It's not as
Immediate
it's not
family?
so it's not as bad as like ERTC was, but
Okay,
just because it follows the rules of more related parties.
okay. Actually, he's a manager, so that wouldn't matter.
Yeah, so that's
Um,
one thing we address in the second questionnaire, actually the final questionnaire. We asked them specifically, who are the owners that are listed on payroll? Who are the managers and supervisors that are listed on payroll? Which, are there any related parties that are listed on payroll? So we asked them specifically to name those people.
Yeah, they've got cousins and stuff that work for them as well, but
Cousins are
they don't have
okay.
any ownership.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cousins are okay.
Yeah.
So anybody they could marry is legal.
Well, then there's that.
In Arkansas.
There was something else. Shoot. It'll come to me later, I'm sure.
Raise your hand again and we'll call on
Oh,
you.
what is the number because let's say it's a bakery, so they're not going to be as high volume as a high-end restaurant.
Sure.
What is our cutoff
So
they have to get?
it's not really about a number of employees. It's more about a number, the savings. Now, I'm going to run this out there, and I probably should have talked to Stan about this. This came up earlier today. George, I don't know if George is on, but this came up with one of his clients. So um, here's what I'm kind of thinking. So I usually tell reps, try to stick to $11,000 plus because that's where you're starting to make money. Anything below that, it's not going to make any sense for anybody. But understand, it still makes sense for the client. They're getting $11,000 a year. It makes sense for them. It
Right.
just doesn't make sense for you below. So let's say it's $10,000. That's below the $11,000 that I told you. So my thinking is, what if we charged a higher fee? So if we said to the client, and we can do this in the interview, look, this is typically below what we would consider qualified for our program because we're really not making a whole lot of money. So instead of 25% because it's below our threshold, would you consider paying 30% on this? It still makes sense for the client, but then now it's starting to make sense for you as well. Or if it's $9,000, would you consider, owner, would you consider paying 35% of the savings? So it makes sense for us to process. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time finding somebody that'll take your case. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Because everybody, I like it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and that's what a lot of other firms do. That's what the law firm that we work with a lot is the smaller the deal, the more they charge as a percentage.
Okay.
So kind of the same process. So if we get down to below the threshold where you guys are making money, if it's $10,000, well then the client has to agree to that we're going to charge 30% instead of 25% if you want us to take your case. Or if it's $10,000, if it's $9,000, you're going to have to pay us 35%. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for us. We can't make enough money on contingency to make any of this make sense. It makes sense for you. You're still getting $9,000 a year, but it doesn't make sense for us to process it. So that was my thought this morning when we were talking that through.
Yeah, I like it.
We just
So
charge a
Denise,
higher fee so that you guys are getting paid too. Otherwise, nobody's getting paid.
yeah.
So who would I reach out to if I get into a little bit more in the weeds with these guys because they're not at the 11K.
Well,
And
then, shoot me an email and say, hey, look, I got a client there at $9,000, but no, that's the conversation we're going to end up having is in the interview, we're going to say, hey, this is below what we would normally process, consider, as a case that we would consider for processing. If you'll pay a higher percentage, we'll still work with you, but it doesn't make sense below $11,000 for us.
okay. And if I come across this one also has two different locations, two different EINs.
So two different
That-
EINs, so you have to think of two different EINs, and it's more about the EIN than it is about location. So you could have one business with, 3 locations, but they're running everything under one EIN number, which happens. They'll have a
Yeah.
payroll service and they're just separating the reports out by location, but it's still all under one EIN number. It's more about EIN number than it is about number of locations.
Okay,
Because
no, I know. They have two locations, two different EINs.
So it's
Right.
two completely separate filings.
Can think of it as two completely separate businesses. Each one would need to
Okay,
qualify.
so each one would have to be
Yeah.
closer to that 11.
Yeah,
So
each one would have to qualify because we're going to have to do returns for each one of them.
yeah, so that's more work for you
Yep.
for sure. Okay, well,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, thank you, Denise. Tom,
Yeah, thanks, guys.
we can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
A little better. Are
Can you
you,
hear me now? Is that better?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, could we go back to the changed survey could Stefan walk us through the 2 pages to see what people are actually being asked? The regular survey and then the phone call survey just to see what that is?
Yep. Hang on a sec. Let me get my screen back up. All right. Is my screen back up?
Yes.
All right.
Not yet.
We'll start.
Well, it's coming up.
All right. So this is the initial survey. So considerably less questions. So nothing on here about taxable income and all that. That's all been removed off here. So then we go to the initial. This is the pre-interview survey. Hang on one sec. I gotta bring up the actual form. This is the table in the background. Okay, this is the pre-interview survey. All right, so some legal language, they got to sign off. So we asked them the name of the business, the address. So I asked this earlier. This was something that was asked later, but that delays us on getting an engagement letter out. So we asked them, if this is the address that we should be using for correspondence, trade name. There's questions here about, because it could be someone else that's like an assistant or something like that that's doing this for the owner. So we ask who that is and what their relationship is to the owner. And then, of course, phone numbers and things like that. When the business started, we want to know how many years back we can go. Are there any compliance issues? Compliance issues mean any outstanding returns, any outstanding tax liabilities that potentially let's say we get the client owes $200,000 and we're going to get them $100,000 back. Well, that's all going to get sucked up by the IRS. We need to know that going into this appointment, because we have talked to the client and say that I think this is a great way for you to pay off your debt, but you're going to have to come out of pocket because nobody's getting paid on this. So that's why that's there. And we're asking them questions like, just flat out asking them, is FICA tax something you already received? And if so, did you claim it for all years? Then we ask them questions about how many states they operate in. How many states they operate in is for a couple of different reasons. One, it leads to a potential vertical for utility sales tax. It also leads to deregulated energy. So we need to know what states they operate out of. And then we asked them questions about, what years already applied. I actually need to move that. So we asked them how they're taxed. We asked them what their filing status is, because that's important. And we figure out how many returns we've got to do. We asked them what type of business, what portion of the industry are they in? They do any tip pooling? And so, and then this is the questions that are leading toward the calculator. So I asked them first how many employees they have. So that's leading towards a potential case for Section 125. So then I asked them how many tipped employees they have. And that's the first question on the survey. This is the second question on the survey. So we're going to come into the meeting already having the answers, not have to spend the first 15 minutes going through the calculator. Then in the above listed company, what's the last year's gross income? Gross income leads to potential private insurance vertical. Do you own a commercial building? That leads to cost seg. What's the estimated cost of water usage? That leads to water usage savings. What's the estimated cost of electric? That leads into electrical usage savings. So that's the first survey that they're going to complete prior to setting an appointment. They will not be able to, without completing this survey, they will not get the link to set an appointment.
Now, will this automatically pop up after they complete the first page?
Yes. So what'll happen is they'll complete this one, At the back end of this one will be a welcome page. That's a link to that second one. And at the back end of that one, on the welcome page, it leads them to set an appointment.
Okay. And finally, is that available in our individual back offices now?
Is what available?
This if we send people our whole landing page with this in the survey, is this what they're going to see now?
So
Yeah.
within the next couple of days, yes.
Okay.
All this is being changed right now. I need to finalize some things, but yes, all this is being changed right now.
Okay. So in the interim, we just send out what we have right now until this is converted.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
As of right now, nobody's going to get those multiple requests for information anymore. As of today, everybody's on hold for today until I get the questionnaire finished up, and then that will be what they get from now on.
Okay. Thank you much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tom. Noel,
You guys hear me? Because I lost all volume with everybody.
we
Yeah.
can hear you loud and
Okay,
clear.
well, I very vaguely hear you, but if you can hear me, I just wanted to go back real quick to get some clarity. And it's a little bit to help some people because I know everybody's getting stuck on that calculator position. At the very top of the landing page, we have tabs. And if you just click the word calculator, it literally brings you right to the calculator. One of the tips that I've helped some people with, and I was on a call with them last night and somebody put it to the test today. She had the calculator right on her page as she began the conversation with the client, and it works very well because you're in person with the client. And if you're not in person with the client, don't just send a text to them and expect them to know what to do. You want to be on the phone with them when you're sending the text and guide them through everything accordingly. And again, if you just hit the word calculator at the very top, it's going to bring you right to the calculator. So where that position of the calculator is, in my opinion, is a moot point because it's there, it's workable, and we are controlling, for all intent and purposes, how the conversation goes to help lead the client to seeing that number. The position of where the calculator is doesn't matter. But I want to go back and get some clarity on someone who had brought something up about sending this out to, I don't know, it was like 15 or 20 people, and talked about them being marketers. So to help everybody else understand, was that feedback coming from marketers who will be potential reps with us who have never been in the field and they're making those suggestions? Or are they restaurant owners who were confused with where to find everything? I just want to make sure everybody understands that feedback and where it came from so there's no confusion for people getting into the field.
Yeah, they were marketers.
So they've never put the actual landing page to the test. They're just dissecting it.
I guess that was the feedback that Mike got from
Okay.
the people
Well, everybody, in my opinion, it's advantageous to put it to the test in the field before critiquing it because I promise you it works.
Yeah, I think it works too.
Okay. I just want to bring clarity to that for the new people on the call because it was a little confusing. This landing page works. You are going to guide the client with the conversation. Be happy for them, be excited for them. We're in control of how this goes. Don't just hand off a link and expect them to know what to do. Thanks, Kurt.
This is not the first time I've got that comment too about putting the calculator up higher. I think, in my opinion, the bullet points are more important than the money at the top. Sometimes I think if the money's at the top, it scares people away. You know, to kind of walk them through, 80 to 90% of small businesses miss this. Oh, I don't feel so bad. I think I missed it too. What's the average refund? $101,000. Is this a prevalent problem? Yeah, it is. $11 billion goes unclaimed every year. And how many years can I get this for? I left those points on top on purpose.
And we also have that video on top too. It's 2 minutes, but if you tell them when you send them the deal, if you're going to just send them the link, which again, that's not how I would do it, but you should at least tell them, click the play button on the video on the front page, and then you can have something else in the email or whatever saying, once you've looked at that, scroll down to the calculator and enter your number of employees and your average tips per week per employee. But and that's, as Noel said, I mean, that's what we were saying earlier. It works very well signing these people up either over the phone, going through this with them, or in person. Um, and Stefan, I don't know how many calls you've had with George in the last couple of weeks, but I know it's been a bunch, right?
Yeah,
So,
probably 15.
yeah, yeah, that's about right. So George, he uh, just to give you some information on who's doing stuff that's working. George hasn't ever sent an email out to anybody. He hasn't texted the link to anybody. He walks into a restaurant, which when you're looking at these, most of the deals that George has submitted are the commission on them is 20 to $50,000, his share.
They're big.
Yeah, his share is 20 to 50,000 on these. And he's done 15 in the last couple of weeks. So, um, I don't know how big a marketer, what they're thinking or how they're going to make it work, but if you go out and get a couple of these, a month, it's big money. And if you do what people are doing that's working already, either I would suggest you walk in. George has started a deal. He goes out to eat at a new place for lunch every single day. He looks and finds, makes sure that they're going to be a potential client, that they have enough servers and enough, tips and all that. And then he goes and eats there. And while he's there eating, he asks for the owner. And he tries to go when it's not quite peak, lunch hour. He waits till, it's a little late lunch or whatever, so that, the owner's not being sidetracked with all kinds of other things. But um, he'll ask to meet them. They always come out to meet him. If they're there, they come out. A customer is there eating in your restaurant and they ask to see you, you're going to walk out and say hello to them and find out what they needed. So, that works really well. And then he just tells them, he compliments them on the meal, whatever that is. And then he brings up the fact that he works with a tax attorney out of Arizona that is helping restaurant businesses get their FICA tips returned that they've been paying on tips that they didn't have to. And every single one of them wants to know more about it when he tells them that. Now, George and I did have one guy that we talked to together that threw his hands up and, stopped us mid-sentence and said, "Oh, I'm already working on this with somebody and with my accountant." And what was funny is I had called the guy twice earlier in the week and didn't get to talk to him. I left a message. And so when George and I went and ate together, he said, "Yes, people have been calling me all week about this." He didn't know it was me that was calling, but you may run into somebody that'll shut you down, but the majority of these guys, they are very interested as soon as you tell them what it is. You've been paying tips, you've been paying FICA on tips, and you're not required to, and we help you get that money refunded. And as soon as you tell them that, especially the way business has been lately, some of these restaurants, business has not been good. So any extra little bit that they're getting is a big deal right now for them. So, Steve, sorry I ran it on a little bit there.
No, you answered one of my questions. Thank you.
All right.
Just to clarify, with this new revised survey that has no questions about their income, et cetera, when they complete that 2 pages, it takes them to the next pre-interview survey. Is that correct?
Yeah, so one takes them to that, leads them directly. That's the link. They go to that survey, and they can't get an appointment until they complete the second one.
So the second one, that's when you start asking questions about income and the details.
Yep.
If I have a restaurant owner and he doesn't know those answers and he's got an accountant that's got all those answers, I really need to get that other person on the phone to complete those details with the owner, so that at the point that we complete that second pre-interview survey, the owner can then choose a date, time to meet with you.
Correct.
Got it.
Stefan, do those need to be
I've
exact
tried to make
numbers?
Do they have to be what? No,
Do they need to be exact numbers?
they don't have to be
Yeah, so
exact.
they can
I mean,
estimate their income and
usually
all that.
clients are, just, when they ask, well, I don't know the answer to that exactly. I'm like, just ballpark it.
Yeah.
Probably not going to be that far off. It's not critical we get down to the exact dollar. Just like, I had more employees in the earlier years than I had in the later years. Just give me an average number. All I'm trying to determine is does this make sense for you? I'm not trying to get the hard, fast numbers right now. I'm just trying to get an idea. Does this make sense for you? In the case of the other survey, we're just trying to come in and make that initial interview more efficient and lead to other verticals.
I'll tell you an exciting story. On the Memorial Day, I was in Orlando visiting my family, kids down there, and I drove to Tampa, and I called on a restaurant that I've eaten at probably 10 times over the last 50 years. It's one of the finest restaurants in the world. I won't mention the name. They have 60 full-time wait staff, and they all make over 100 grand a year.
Yeah.
And I got a conversation with them next week. It's pretty
Yeah. And that's what you're after. You're after the high-end restaurants where the tips are high. It's the seafood restaurants, it's the high-end Italian restaurants, it's the steakhouses. That's what that's what you want.
Yeah,
Steve, did you say that restaurant's in Tampa?
I did.
I know that restaurant.
I met
It is
with.
awesome. It is awesome.
It's fantastic. It's been
Yeah,
there
it is
over
the best steakhouse I've ever been to.
in the world, and for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I've
Good
got her
luck with
name
that.
right here.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, thank you.
That's great.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. Elaine. O'Malley, you must be a good Irish girl. Or your husband was a good Irish boy, maybe. Can you unmute Elaine?
I
There
had
you go.
trouble doing it. I kept saying it cannot do it. Hi, thank you. Yes, I'm 100% Irish, born that way. Quick question. You guys quickly mentioned earlier Section 125 plans. Did I
Mhm.
get that right?
Mhm.
Stefan, is that the Obamacare 125?
No.
Well,
No.
when you say 125, you're talking about an IRS code section.
Oh,
So
section.
it's providing additional benefits to employees that would reduce the overall FICA tax so that the owner would receive additional savings every year. And also the employees in their paycheck would receive additional savings because their FICA taxes are being lowered so they can actually increase their paycheck. So that's
It's been
what we
around
call
since the 80s,
yeah,
right?
that's what we call the Section 125 plan because it's based on IRS Section 125.
Used to
But
be called a cafeteria plan
yeah,
or
yeah.
And I want to jump in a minute since I'm kind of one of the big architects of these programs. When you mentioned Obamacare, what happened is, and Kurt and everybody, just so you get an understanding, people, the reason that we're doing the FICA tips is basically to get employers to report more tips. The reason why this Section 125 program, FICA reduction program came out is because after they did the Affordable Care Act, the White House, the government realized that with so many more people coming into the system now, that the healthcare system was going to have a drain on it unless people became healthier. Therefore, in order to incentivize employers to do the program and send out information to their employees how to become healthier, have coaches and so forth, which we handle, they said, well, there's got to be something in it for them. And that's when they said, how about if we drop their FICA requirement? Hey, that's a winner. And that was the thing that drove that whole thing along. And then we've had people say, gee, that's too good to be true. It's not. It makes sense.
Yep.
The government would rather spend some money now by cutting those FICA taxes than having to pay $1 million for a heart attack 5 years down the road. And that's the logic of it.
That's what I'm talking about, Stan. Thank you.
And so
you got it.
what I'm trying to do in those questions is just kind of leading questions and not so bang them over the head. So that's why I ask a question like, how many total employees you have? They're not going to even think that's a weird question. But that's the reason why I asked that question, because that would lead you into, does this client, should I be talking to this client about Section 125?
Yep. I'd
Thank you,
rather.
Elaine.
I actually don't need to know how many total employees they have.
Yeah.
I need
Thank
to know how many tipped
Good.
employees they have, but I don't need to know how many total employees they have.
I appreciate
Elaine, is that everything?
That's everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Patrick.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm up in Alaska, and currently the wage earners, the minimum wage here is $13.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to go to $14 in July.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Not for wait staff though.
well, I looked. I was trying to Google that, and that's what came up. So, is there a specific term I need to use to describe the wage that will bring up a correct answer?
As long as it's over $5.15, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's that?
Go ahead, Stefan. I'll let you. You're the
Yeah.
expert.
So, in those states, there are states that don't follow the minimum wage rate. So in those states, what happens is more of the tips go towards the minimum salary to get them to that rate per hour. So you're just gonna in those states, you're just gonna have less tips. But usually in those states, the cost of living is usually higher too. So it's, the tips are usually higher because of the cost of living. So
What's the case in Alaska?
yeah, all you care about is, what is the actual tip. So if you look at the calculator and when you put numbers in the calculator, regardless of what you put in there, if you put $17, you'll notice it won't take anything more than 515 because that's all we need to know is once we get to 515, they are eligible for the entire credit. It doesn't even make any difference how many hours the employees work. Below 515, I need to know how many hours they work.
It's
But-
$11.91 in Alaska, so it's not that much less than the regular minimum wage, but it is a little less. But if it's over 515, we're good.
Yeah, we don't, once we get to that, we don't care.
So this will still calculate out as a benefit to them and to us.
Yeah, so it's gonna do the math because regardless what you try to put in there on the hourly wage, it's only gonna take 515 or anything up to 550. Anything more than 515, it's gonna do 515 because you don't care about anything above 515. And then if they're giving you the correct number for their tips, the calculator works.
Yeah. So Patrick, the reason it matters on if they're, a lot of the states it's $2.13. And if it is, then we have to use some of the FICA money that they would be getting back. It has to be allocated to get that each and one of those employees up to 515 an hourly rate. So
you can
with
actually play with
yours-
the calculator and you can
Yeah.
put some numbers in there and then take it from 213 to 515 and you'll see that the calculation changes.
It'll go up several $1,000s. So
Yeah.
your people up there are going to get the full amount. They're not going to have to have any money allocated towards wages, to bring their wages up. So it's a good deal for you. Andrea.
Hi, good afternoon. My questions are about the Section 125. Is there a carrier or someone that's set up for that? Because I am in the financial industry, so how would that work?
Dan, I'll let you take that one.
I love it when people ask me things that I know a lot about. One of the jokes is I'm nicknamed the tree shaker because I call people and get things done. And the other thing is I'm also the instigator. I'm the one that sets up a lot of these programs. So the Section 125, you'd want to contact Gina, or you're on Gina's team. We'll set you up in that system with it. I don't want to go too much into this because the call is mainly designed, for our FICA stuff. But yeah, we have two really good programs that we're using. One of them, we had Brad Renzelman for a company called Quantum. They're the only fully insured program in the marketplace. They handle 20 and up to 100,000. They don't really care how big it is. We have another company that handles below 20. I just had a meeting quickly with a little bakery that had 7 or 8 people, and they're ecstatic that I can get them benefits and cut their FICA. and they're gonna sign up next week. So just get with Gina and we'll hook you right up.
Okay, great. Thank you. My second question is about is there financing perhaps for those that may come up short, or is the financing, well, just financing in general? Because I know you had mentioned that before for the restaurant owners.
Yeah, so we're working with a hedge fund to get financing in general, and they have an appetite for all tax government programs. And they said the magical word to me, which is we have a mandate to what was it exactly? I mean, let me quote it exactly. Deploy capital. You love hearing that one from a
Deploy
yeah.
capital. That's what hedge funds do.
You love to hear that from a hedge fund. We have a mandate to deploy capital.
Yeah. Share it around a little bit. Andrea, is that everything?
Okay, I have one more question about the additional questions. So am I understanding correctly that before we set an appointment with Stefan, that the owner will have to answer those additional questions
Correct.
on the
And those questions a lot of them are ones to make that appointment more efficient, but then a bunch of those questions are to lead to other verticals.
But they do have to fill them both out before
Yes,
set the appointment.
the initial survey, the one on the landing page is so simple, that's 30 seconds anymore. And then the other one's going to take them a little bit more time, but really not that much. We're not asking exclude your employees and all that. That's in the third the questionnaire. That's one that once they're in the CRM and we're gathering information, that's when they get that one.
Yeah.
So, okay. So there's going to be another questionnaire added to the landing page.
No. So what happens is out of the back of the landing page, they get a link to that questionnaire. So it gives them a link. They have to fill out that questionnaire to get to an appointment. Once they've completed that, they get the link to set an appointment.
Okay, so no longer will we just set an appointment right then and there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
right now, the way it works right now, out of the landing page, you complete that, and then it gives you a link to set an appointment.
So how can we set an appointment? Like if we can get because if I can set an appointment right then, I think it would be great. Like it's great if I can get them to set that appointment right there.
Sure. So here's the way you do it. So you can go to my Calendly campaigns. It's calendly.com/taxman.
I'll post the link in the chat.
In there are a ton of different campaigns, but the one you're looking for is the FICA Tips Tax Credit Feasibility.
So we can just set the appointment.
You can go straight, and that's all that link is doing is setting and looking at my calendar. It tells me what campaign that came from, but it's just looking at my calendar for a whole.
Okay.
Andrea, I posted that in the chat for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Stephen.
It's Stephen, not Stefan.
Well, then you should have corrected me in the first place. No.
Well, I couldn't because I was still muted.
I knew that.
Two questions.
I was
First, I came in late to the call, and this call is being recorded, correct?
Yes.
All right, good. Then my second
Are you getting
question,
the emails to the weekly meetings from Stan?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll get the recording of this one on the next invite for Wednesday's meeting.
Great.
Okay.
Second question has to do with the beauty program. I know we have a minimum dollar amount of 11,000 for the food and beverage, but what is the minimum for the beauty or industry or salon, whatever that program?
It kind of works the same because the reason it's $11,000 is we've got things that have to happen in the background. And it's really kind of the same things that are happening in the background for the beauty and personal care industry. The problem with the beauty and personal care industry is the tips aren't as high. So I would suggest the $11,000 is still a good number, but as far as what you're targeting, you're probably targeting more like twice the number of employees, 20 plus.
High-end salons,
Yeah.
high-end med spas,
Yeah.
where they're doing facials
Yeah.
and
You got to take
massages
in
and all kinds of stuff.
consideration that they're being paid less in tips.
Got it.
Yeah.
I said two questions. The third one just came up. Well, I can. So we talked about you talked about the Section 125, and again, I missed the first part of this. The cost seg, the WOTC. What are some of the other programs that you got? Utilities, you got water. What are some of the other?
The ones that work nicely for restaurants, water, electric, WOTC often
Trash.
works.
Private reinsurance.
Private reinsurance often works. That's why I asked the question about gross income.
Okay, and
Isn't
what
that-
is private reinsurance from a very high level?
Stan, you want to take that one?
It's the secret sauce that helped Warren Buffett build Berkshire Hathaway. Everybody knows who Berkshire Hathaway is. There's a secret sauce of what made him build it. It was not stock picking. It was private reinsurance, where basically you're able to use the insurance float. We create your own insurance company. You can use that float to reinvest. That's what made Warren Buffett companies trillions. We do a special meeting on Tuesdays. If you want to be invited to that, just email me, stanshawjr@gmail.com. Kurt's going to put my email in there.
I am. Okay.
Yeah, and if you're not receiving your invitations, my apologies. My partner decided to help out and go in and approve everybody, but he didn't put them onto the email invitation list, and that's okay.
I thought
We
it was
missed
actually,
you.
yeah, I thought I was doing a good thing.
Yeah,
Trying to help Stan out while he was at a trade show.
So basically, what you're talking about is like infinite banking and something like along those lines, right?
Well, let's just say that you understand the concept of infinite banking, but infinite banking has never existed for a business. That's for an individual. This is designed more of it's designed, like we said, to use the concepts that Warren Buffett learned what that was, so that you're able to basically use, we call it the insurance float, to basically loan yourself money at what's called an AFR, a certain rate. It's just really interesting. It's like being your own bank, but for a business.
And who would I need to contact to get involved in those calls or be on those meetings?
I'm going to ask Kurt. Kurt, that's a you question. Who would he need to contact?
You.
There you go. And I think Kurt's
Yeah,
going to
Jeremy and I both posted his email address, Stephen. So you can just email him and tell him that that's one of the things you want to be included
private
in.
reinsurance, and we will invite you. We do a meeting every Tuesday with our specialist, Sheldon Singleton, who we just did a big event for out in California. Stefan went out there. It was packed. Absolutely packed. And it's an interesting program because it pays a residual income. These companies want to do this thing, year after year and so forth. So just send me something over and I'll invite you.
Barry.
Hey, I just want to get clarity on that feasibility call. What is the purpose for that call to make an appointment with Stefan?
The purposes of it is, does it make sense for this client?
Do they have to go through the calculator first before setting up that meeting with you?
The landing page.
That's usually, it's usually what I do with them when we're on the meeting. But the reason why I have the new survey is because I want to have the numbers ahead of time so that we can have the calculator already pre-populated.
Okay, so that can arbitrarily say, hey, just talking to a client, a prospect, and say, oh, we can determine if you can have this or not. Just set up a call with, and use your link and set up a call with that, and without going through the calculator, or you had to go through the calculator first, correct?
No, they need to go through that calculator.
He's operating in the blind if
otherwise I'm walking into a meeting not even knowing if it's worth having a meeting. So let's say the calculator tells me that they're going to get $4,000 back. That is not an appointment that I want to have.
Right.
Yeah. So so they complete that first one, then they have the link to fill out the the preview. And if they do that with or without you, you want to make sure they have your email address so that when they schedule their call with Stefan, you're included. You know, have them add you as a guest for that on that Calendly,
Right.
you know, appointment setter. That's it. Thank you, Barry. I think Barry's done. Thank you, guys. We've got the next meeting is next Wednesday at 2 Central Time. That is an opportunity Zoom, and we try to keep it to the opportunity. Sometimes we get sidetracked a little, but we really want it for new people. So invite your new potential guests, and we'll go through the program a little more in depth and help them to understand how it works. The opportunity for the income and everything else. We'll go through all that with them. Stefan, Stan, anything else?
I don't have anything.
I think you did a wonderful job. We just really want to reiterate to everybody that we really want to make hay while the sun's shining. We're running down on our time limit on when we're going to be able to do, you know, the 7 years in total. But hey, come on.
You got 3 weeks.
The other people are struggling to do 4 years. We are doing 7. Talk to people that are working for the competition. Say, would you like to be making whatever 80% more, whatever our numbers are? And you're going to find that once they understand that, they're excited. And I think you've got one last question there, Mr. Kurt.
Well, I saw it. I was going to ignore it.
Darn it. He snuck it in right on the wire. Go ahead.
Robert.
Last one.
Just a
Robert?
quick question. What happens after the deadline that we have for 7 years? Does it go to 6 years?
No, it goes
What
back to
happens?
4.
We go back to 4. So this is an
Back to
opportunity.
3 years. Okay.
Yeah, this is an opportunity because of COVID. So we got an extra
Great.
3 years because of that. But once July 10th passes, that's it.
We're done. Okay.
We're
Thank
back
you.
to 4 years. And 4 years on, 4 years is an ongoing thing. That's statute.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
just something because of COVID.
That extra.
So moving forward, like all these people we bring in next year, we can do one, you know, the next year for them. But there's always going to be more restaurants out there that haven't done this that we can still do 4 years for. So that's going on year after year after year.
Yeah, as it turns out, this is a huge ocean.
Yeah.
And that's also
I mean, don't
why
take my
we're
word for it. 80 to 90% of businesses have no clue about this.
I'm telling you.
Why we're adding the ability for us to basically do that secondary sale for you with these other projects and other programs. We're the only company that does it, Kurt. We are the only one that does it.
Yeah, I know. All right. Thank you all for being on here. Appreciate everybody's time, and we'll see you Wednesday. Take care.